Mega carriers have been investing heavily into self-driving technology. What is Knight-Swift's relationship with Embark? I was thinking about this since we've had our tour yesterday. Okay. And so I hear this in the comments a lot. Why have a basketball court? Why have a place for their drivers to game if they're investing in self-driving trucks or technology or what have you? And so I thought about that last night. I go, as a business person, would I invest hundreds of millions of dollars into terminals for drivers if I'm thinking about making a culture without drivers? Because that doesn't make sense for business 101. So I just wanted to say that to begin with.
Yeah.
And I thought that was something that I saw yesterday.
Yeah.
And so,
good.
You know, I just wanted to put that out there. So I will ask this question now. Mega carriers have been investing heavily into self-driving technology. What is Knight-Swift's relationship with Embark?
Okay. So, as Dave talked about, different technologies, whether it's hydrogen fuel cell or electric, we look close. We look to understand. There's nobody who operates a fleet of our size, over 20,000 trucks. There's nobody who consistently buys as many trucks, a few thousand, 4,000, sometimes trucks a year, and that is so invested. Nobody has as many over-the-road full truckload drivers as we do. So these are all key pieces to our business. I would say the fact that we have learned how to recruit, train, employ, and help to be successful truckload drivers is our core competitive advantage. That's what we do. So the fact that we have a relationship with a technology company, which is not our strength, technology, one should not paint with a broad stroke that we're abandoning a very successful business plan that we're the industry leader of for some newfound pursuit. I would say that it is common that businesses have relationships that don't have identical objectives. So think about our relationship with our customers. When we're negotiating with our customer, their objective is much different than what our objective is. And we have to try and find a way to make it work for both of us. And they want to buy us for as cheap as we can and give them as much capacity and let them hold on to trailers for eternity. And we're on the other side trying to be profitable and trying to be productive and make it a good fit for our drivers. And so Embark, I would look at that in a similar fashion. If we're going to sit here and say we're serious about safety and we're aware of companies that have developed technology that can look out 300 yards in front of a truck and can see every object and measure and identify whether it's a truck, a car, a bicycle, a motorcycle, whether it's on the side of the road or whether it's stopped in the middle of the road, that can measure and evaluate what's on the side of those trucks, and can see rates of change in front of them, again, hundreds of yards in front and many seconds in front of what a human being could even process it. I don't know how we don't take interest in learning and understanding that technology. So our relationship with Embark is, we've met with, I would say, virtually all of the autonomous. They would, of course, have great interest usually in us and wanting to work with us. Embark was the only company that came in, listened to us, listened to concerns we had, just looking at their technology, not looking at their business model, but looking at their technology. And they listened to us. They came back and they talked about it and they addressed it. And we talked to them further about creating some kind of opportunity where we could put a subset of what they're after. They're after a level 4 where a driver doesn't have to be in the truck. That is not the technology that we're testing today. And that is not a technology that is out there for commercialized use. We're using components of that with our drivers and that equipment's been put on our trucks so we can learn and understand what can happen, how can we continue to improve safety, and where is this industry going to go? And so at this stage of the game, if we can find a way to nearly entirely eliminate preventable accidents, which this technology can do that. And I'm not talking about take a driver out. I'm talking about there's technology today that may be very close to being commercialized that could eliminate preventable accidents and that can improve the quality of the driving job, to have some additional assistance like I have in my personal vehicle. My personal Ford, it tells me when I'm bumping inside and out of the lines. And I'll just tell you, I'm a better driver because of whatever technology Ford has in my car. And my wife's a much better driver as a result of that technology. That was not.
She doesn't watch this. So.
No, that's just because she drives more miles, than I do. That's all that means.
I'm putting that in the beginning of this.
And so I have the sweetest wife. She is so sweet. So we're determined. So if we have technology companies coming to us and wanting to learn and understand about the industry, and we can see technology that has the potential to improve safety and improve the driver job, I don't know why we wouldn't entertain partnerships like what we're doing with Embark. To your point, would we put the focus and the investment that we have in our drivers, if we thought there was some silver bullet out there that would turn the fleet into robots overnight? No, we wouldn't do that, and we wouldn't make all those investments and do the business that we are. So, I hope that people can see the seriousness we have to make investments in safety and improving a driver job. And so, we're the only fleet that's been trusted to experiment with this. We have 2 drivers that we've hand selected that are phenomenal drivers. Both of these drivers are trainers as well. So they're very familiar with the job. They're very familiar with what it would be like with a trainee to have some additional technology helping them behind the wheel. And so these guys are not using autonomous. These guys are not taking a nap. In fact, if they take their hands off the steering wheel, it disengages. And so we're continuing to explore technology. That's what we're doing here.
No, that's fair. No, I appreciate that. So my last question is an easy question, but it's one that I will leave you guys all with.
Hey, I don't think my wife would let me work less than to 65. She just doesn't want to be around me that much. And so what's that? Almost 20 years, we're going to be hiring and we're going to need truck drivers for that entire period. I'm convinced of it. I would bet my career on it.
I would say as long as he or she wants to be behind the wheel, that's how long they'll have a career. I think it's right.
Here's what I would say, and there's probably some misperceptions out there, and that's what we do. We try to clear up misperceptions, is that some of these technologies that we're looking at, whether it be zero emissions technologies or this driving technology, there's limitations, right? It doesn't do everything. It can't do everything. And it'll be decades before it can do, and not even in every single case. And so what you're seeing is you're going to see a splash here and a splash there, but the fact of the matter is, for decades to come, the driver is still going to be in control of the truck. Now, they may have to do less. You may not have to sit there and constantly keep the truck in the center of the lane. There may be technology to allow you to stay in the center and be able to worry about other things. The job will slowly change, but the driver's going to stay in the truck.
Yeah, I think when you look at the technology, it has solved the easiest part of the job. when you're on a clear highway in great weather without traffic, right? Now, I think our drivers know that that is not the case in many situations, right? And that's when we need human intervention. That's when we need experience on the road to know how to navigate an accident, know how to navigate weather, right? To know how to navigate law enforcement in certain situations. And you just can't program around that. And so that's why, we like the technology to understand how to improve the experience for our drivers. But I think of the trains. We still have someone operating trains. That is on a track with a schedule, but yet you still have not automated that process. We think about airplanes. There's more technology in airplanes than our trucks today. I'm not getting on a plane without a pilot, right? So I think that's the world we're headed down. It's just going to be such a challenge to try to program around every situation a driver can encounter.
No, definitely. And I heard what you said earlier. You said you guys try to always keep it a healthy environment so that you never have to lower the pay. And so one thing that drivers are concerned is as the technology gets better and the truck driver does less, they're feared that the pay will go down. And I remember you telling me earlier in this interview that you guys always try to, if anything, keep the pay the same or exponentially increase it as much as you can. So, I mean, you're going to stick by that, right?
Yeah, our goal is to make sure our drivers have a great paycheck, right? And we always try to keep compensation fair.
Yeah.
Probably never going to be the highest. We're certainly not going to be the lowest. We're going to be in that top echelon. But our goal is to constantly continue to give increases to our drivers depending on where we're at in the market. Our goal is to never bring pay down.
And with a predictable quality of life. And,
I love that.
And some consistency. So we build density. Bottom line is, for individuals that are willing to go and get a CDL, to get experience, and to have a clean driving record, that is one of the greatest things an individual can do to assure that they will always be able to provide for themselves and for their families. And there are not enough people that are willing to sometimes get off the couch or to make the sacrifices to get a CDL, to pay the price of training with a trainer that might not, you might be Randy Travis and they may be Snoop Dogg, and that may not be a good experience, but to get through with a trainer, whatever that experience may be, and then to take safety as seriously as it should be taken, certainly as we tried to take it. And there will be tools, we're convinced there will be tools that will come down the line that will enable and empower drivers that want to do that. They shouldn't feel threatened by that. No one should feel threatened to go that route, that pursuit, and to have such a worthy career as being a professional driver with a CDL and a clean driving record. And so we take so much joy out of helping to facilitate and see that happen. And that's where we're going to continue to be focused. So.
I love that. Yeah, definitely. I think we're good. At the end of all this, is there anything that you would like to leave the viewers with? That anything else that you want to bring up at all? I think we're good. But again,
hey, I hope that you have been able to see, and you're welcome to. You'll film your own videos. You'll keep filming videos every day, and we love what you do for the industry. You've had a chance to come and see us and experience this firsthand, and we'd love to have a relationship. I'm going to pay closer attention to the comments. Last night I read a bunch of comments about my basketball skills and the fact of why would they even have that if they're not going to have drivers. I read some of those comments and I just couldn't believe that. So I hope that you'll feel comfortable to talk about what you've seen and how you've felt with us. For our drivers that follow you, which I know there are many, because we ran into several who they didn't recognize me, some didn't recognize Adam, but they recognize you.
And
I love that. I want our drivers. I just want you to know we so appreciate you, and I'd be crushed if you've heard us talk and you thought, I don't know what company they're talking about, because that's not how it feels. I mean, we work really hard. We run this thing decentralized. That's not the easiest way to do it from a corporate perspective, but it's the right way to do it if you're going to connect with individuals. And we're not going to stop trying to get it right. And so So to our drivers, I'm grateful for you. To drivers who used to be with us but have left, I hope you're doing well. And if they're not treating you as good as they should be, boy, our arms are open to you. And to the rest of you out there working hard, we have so much respect for you. And to people who are out there that compete with us, we respect you. There is so much more we have in common than that makes us different. And so we're all in this together. If there's something we can do in our leadership position, we want to try and help advance it.